out there, I am still a rookie. So I just hit my 1 year mark. I don't know everything, and anything that I don't know, I won't answer because I refuse to lie to y'all. Let's just get that out there.
Yeah, V Lee.
And I'm smoking a little hookah, feeling good. But I did write down a list of stuff that people asked me, and I'm gonna just go from here. The number one question that people ask me is what inspired me to drive trucks. And honestly, I think I was just playing around. That's why you have to be really careful of what you speak into existence, because I used to post all the time, especially on Facebook and Twitter. I had a Twitter, but I deleted it. I used to post, oh, I should drive trucks. I'm always on the road. I'm always doing this and that. I'm gonna drive trucks. And I didn't realize that I was speaking it into existence until COVID hit. I got laid off from a law firm that I was working at, and I went and applied for unemployment. This is when unemployment was through the roof. And I'm like, okay, well, y'all laid me off. I'm about to get some unemployment. And then they called us back to work. And they found out that I applied for unemployment. So they was like, no, we can't take you back until you close this claim. And I was like, no, I'm not closing the claim. So let me go find me a job that I know is going to always be around, whether we're in the middle of a crisis or whatever. And I kept scrolling, and truck driving literally kept popping up on my timeline. So I'm like, man, let me look into this. I think I can drive a truck. My little sister and my little brother, they both drive for the military. And so I'm like, y'all should see my sister. She's like 5 feet. And she driving a big ass truck. So I'm like, if she can drive a truck, oh, I know I could drive a truck for real. People always ask me, why did I choose Swift? I didn't choose Swift. Swift just popped up, like, really. For real. Every time I kept scrolling, like, Swift kept popping up. So kudos to their marketing team. That's all I kept seeing. And I don't know if it's because they're a mega carrier or what, but that, like, they made me go and apply. I applied for them. I applied for JP Hunt, Warner, a lot of mega carriers that I kept seeing. And Swift was one of the first ones that reached out to me or whatever. And they did have their own schooling. So a lot of mega carriers do have their own schooling. You will not have to pay for anything up front, but you will have to sign a 1 year contract. Now, that does not mean that you have to work for them for that 1 year. If a company ain't working out for you, baby, I don't encourage nobody to stay where they're not comfortable. But the only thing is, if you quit within your 1 year, you will owe them for that schooling. But who cares? If you got everything that you already need, like a house, a car, who cares if they put that on your credit? Get somebody to clean your credit, you know. At least you got your CDL. That's one thing that they can't take from you is your CDL. Once you got it, period. Okay, so that leads me into schooling. I would tell anybody, the WIA program, or WIOA is what they call it now, that's free grant money. If you go to your local unemployment website, they usually have tabs to where you can click on the WIA program and apply for the grant, and they will give you free grant money, and you choose what school you want to go to. Most people choose to go to a tech college or whatever, and schooling is usually between 3 weeks to a month. Some are way longer, but it's free money, y'all. Go get it. The only reason why I didn't use it at the time is because, it's like I said, I got laid off when COVID first hit. So the wait list was stupid long. And I'm like, I cannot wait for this wait list because I need money now. Like, I'm letting y'all know, like, I was going damn near broke, like going through my savings. I'm like, bills don't stop. They don't stop. And unemployment was moving real slow for me. So I'm like, okay, I'm jumping on the first thing, smoking. What is my goal for trucking? My goal is to own my own company. I don't want to be as big as these mega carriers, but I want to be very successful. I've already taken steps as far as getting my LLC, my EIN number. Only thing that's stopping me now is a lot of these insurance companies want you to have 2 years experience of trucking before they will issue you an insurance policy. But what I say is, what's meant for you is meant for you. So I can get 1,000 no's and that one yes gonna come through. So I'm still looking and researching. People have been telling me to run up under somebody else's authority, but I don't want to do that because I've heard that if you're under somebody's authority and then they have a driver that gets a ticket or whatever, it reflects back on you as well since you're under the same motor carrier number. So I'm just gonna wait it out. I'd rather wait than to get myself in a lot more mess. Was it hard to learn to drive? No, honestly it wasn't. I think as drivers, And students, we make it harder than it has to be because we're under the pressure. And when you're in school, you got people looking at you and you feel like you need to rush. But what I'm gonna say is take your time. I don't care if it takes you 5 hours to back that truck into the box. As long as you got it in there, that's all that matters. It may be somebody that gets the truck backed up in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, but the end goal is the same. So my best advice is for you to take your time. That whatever they're saying, let that go out the window and just focus on what you're doing. Realize that that's a big ass truck. You can't make no mistakes, because if you do, then you're risking yourself getting put out of the school process and then that going on your DAC report as an accident, and it will be harder for you to go apply for another company. How many miles do I drive per month? I drive over 10,000 miles. I drive normally per week between 26 and 2,700 miles because I go to the same store. When I came out of school, went straight to a dedicated account. I don't know how it happened. That's why I say whatever is for you is for you. This goes for my single mothers. Don't be discouraged because you have kids and you feel like you can't do it, because I too felt the same way, but I just had to step out on faith and tell myself, man, if this is for you, go for it. God will work it out to where you are able to work this job and gain some money and make a better future for yourself and your child. I moved to Atlanta when I was 5 months pregnant. This was 5 years ago. And even though I didn't want to put my child in daycare at 6 weeks old, I had to step out on faith and realize that's something I had to do. And it worked out in my favor. So ladies, again, if this is something that you want to do and you are scared right now, this is your pep talk and your motivation to go and do it. It don't matter whether you got a support system from your family or whatever. There are other people out here that aren't family that will support you and will help you to do what you want to do. What's the hardest part of truck driving? I would say the idiotic drivers, four-wheelers that cut us off daily. I don't think people realize that 18-wheelers can't stop on dime. And the sooner people realize that, the sooner we can stop these accidents that could have been avoided and stuff like that. So that's the hardest part. These idiotic four-wheelers and other drivers, even other 18-wheelers, they'll be parked on the side and just jump out in front of you. You doing 65 miles per hour. It's like, bruh, you know I can't stop. So why would you jump out in front of me like that? In my OTR or regional, I'm dedicated / regional. I'm dedicated because I go to the same store. I'm regional because I run southeast region. So if the store that I'm going to, if they cancel on the load, then I run to other stores that are in the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, or Alabama region. I don't do no cross country. I ain't going through no mountains. I don't do none of that because I'm too scary. That people might be like, you ain't no real truck driver, but baby, I don't care. I know what's best for me, and I ain't compromising my safety for nobody, period. Will I ever step away from Swift? Yes, I will. When I get my own trucking company, when I start my own trucking company, yes, I will step away from Swift. I have thought about going to other companies, but a lot of these companies make you promises that they can't keep, and that's one of the things that I will say about Swift. And I will give y'all advice. If you're applying for a company and you're speaking with a recruiter, make sure you record the conversation. Everything that they're promising you, make sure it's documented, because later on down the line, when they aren't upholding to their promises, then you have documentation and you have proof of what they did promise you. So if you leave that company, you can use that, because it's like, y'all lied to me, period. What truck do I drive? I drive a freight shaker. No, for real, y'all, I drive a Freightliner, and I've been driving that since school. That's the truck that they train us on. I can't give y'all no advice on what's the best truck, because I haven't driven any other trucks like Kenworth, Peterbilt's. I do notice that a lot of the old truck drivers, that they drive the Peterbilt's and the Kenworths, the big boys. When you coming through traffic, they're like, they switching gears and stuff. It's cool. Oh, let me tell y'all, I just learned how to drive a stick shift, so I can't wait, because I'm gonna be in my truck coming through traffic like, yeah, y'all see me. I can't wait. Do I drive solo or do I team? I drive solo, y'all. I can't do the whole teaming thing because that's saying that you don't know a person until you live with them. It's true. I believe so. And basically, if you're team driving, you're living with that person because you're with them 24/7. So yeah, I like solo. The guy that y'all see in my videos, he actually rides with me sometimes, but it's only to record the videos. So that's strictly for entertainment purposes only. What's a good cent per mile to start? I don't know. I can't tell y'all because, like I said, I'm still a rookie. But what I will tell y'all is that when I started off with Swift, they started me off at 46 cents per mile for loaded, and I believe 40 cents per mile for empty, I think. But that was a year ago, so don't quote me. But I do know it was in the 40-cent margin. These other companies, they was like 20 cents, 30 cents. And I'm like, what? People still out here? That's modern day slavery. Like, what? Riders. See, for Swift is that if you do have a rider, you have to fill out the insurance paperwork and then pay like a $22 per month fee, but that's only so they can be included on your insurance in case you get into an accident or something. Now, it is some people out here riding dirty. They don't do the paperwork, because I know in the beginning I didn't even know about paperwork. So I had somebody ride with me, and then my driver leader was like, no, you need to fill out this paperwork. So make sure y'all got the proper paperwork for that. How much does it cost to own a company? I really don't know. But like I said, I'm trying to start my own company. So as I'm going through this process, I'm writing down what's everything costing me. And I'll make a video later on when I have started my company so that I can help some of y'all out. Because what I've realized is that nobody wants to give the game about trucking. It's like a secret society. But for those of y'all out there, Alex Good Energy, he does have a trucking portal that will train you on how to start your own trucking company. And I think they also have like a dispatch program. The scariest moment that I had in trucking. Okay, let me take a little sip on that one. Okay, so I'm coming down 45 in Charlotte, and I'm getting off the exit to go 77 North. And as soon as I get off the exit, there's an accident. Like 2 cars literally get into an accident. Everybody slamming on brakes, everybody swerving. I'm in a big truck, and this car stops in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't stop. And I'm looking like, God, give me a sign which way to go. So at the very last minute, I'm like, okay, the shoulder of the road is clear, but there was like a big dip in the road. So I'm like, dang, can I make this dip? I'm like, man, bump it. I gotta go on the shoulder of the road because I can't hit this car. So I go around on the shoulder, and luckily, like when I hit the dip, I still had control of the truck. So I was able to slow down on the side and then like go past the accident and then come back onto the road. But man, when I tell y'all, I almost peed myself. And I was fresh out of school. This was like within my first month of driving solo. So that made me not even want to drive no more. But then I just had to pray about it. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what comes with the job. And I had to get over it. So that leads into my next question. Do I have anxiety on the road? Yes, I do. And the way that I deal with anxiety is to meditate, put on some gospel music, or if I have to, pull over, get out the truck, walk around, and take a breather. Anxiety comes and goes. It's something that you will have to deal with. That comes with any job. Like, you don't just have anxiety within trucking. Like, I had anxiety when I worked at the jail. I had anxiety when I did hair over certain clients, over, oh, they asking me to do a style that I don't know how to do. So anxiety is just something that we all have to deal with. What's the longest trip? I don't really take long trips. Like I said, I go to the same store all the time. So I drive a total of between 10 and 11 hours a day. How to pass pre-trip. Pre-trip is the double. Psych. So the way that I dealt with that is I made songs. I'm like musically inclined. So I made songs about the parts, made them rhyme, made them relate to everything, everyday things that I do in my life. And I just repeated that song over in my head when I was taking the pre-trip test. I also went out there to the range on my day off from schooling, and I went through the whole pre-show, but I recorded it on my phone, audio recorded it. And so at night I would play that over and over and over and over. So that's what helped me. And then also CDL Prep app, that's a good app. How was my first day at Swift? So my first day at Swift was very overwhelming at first because I didn't know what to expect. And then when I first got there, they were making us do a whole bunch of stuff that we had already done. So I just took it as, wow, they aren't organized. Like, they don't know that we did this already. But little did I know that they were doing that so that they cover their asses. So basically, Swift does do hair follicle tests. There's no way around it. So I would advise you that if you're going to apply for trucking, especially at these mega carriers, that you don't smoke for 6 months so that you know your system is clean, because I don't know any other way to get past a hair follicle test. Like, you know, you could probably get around the urine part, whatever y'all be doing to pass, but I don't think that you can get around a hair follicle test unless you probably know somebody. But that concludes this video, y'all. I thank y'all for watching and staying tuned. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff, and I will see y'all soon.
Yeah, V Lee.